You ever see a woman get shot while holding her baby by cops who didn't even knock, then watch the whole system pretend she had it coming? Yeah, that happened. It was 2:17 in the morning when 3 rapid gunshots cracked through the stillness of Briarwood Avenue. Inside number 38, Cassandra Reed was feeding her baby boy, lullabies drowned out by infant hiccups and the quiet creak of their old house. And then, chaos. No warrant, no warning, just boots crashing through the back door and orders barked too fast for anyone to follow. "Drop the weapon!" But Cassandra wasn't holding one. She was holding her son. By the time the 4th second passed, she was already on the floor, 3 bullets in her chest, eyes wide, lips still murmuring something only her baby would ever hear. And they didn't even pause to check. No ID, no explanation, just silence, and the echo of their own certainty. What they didn't know was who her husband was. Logan Reed. A quiet man, maybe too quiet for the town of Marrow's Bluff. Folks just thought he was some vet trying to piece life back together. What they didn't know? He once trained special ops units so deadly, their missions didn't even make it into black file archives. He had ghosts in his past, and now they'd made a new one for him. Let me back up a sec. Logan had only been home 3 months. He'd traded weapons drills for grocery runs, tactical briefings for bedtime stories. He and Cassandra were building a life, something real, something soft, something worth protecting. But peace never lasts where injustice is allowed to grow roots. Cassandra, a trauma nurse and community advocate, had made waves. Polite ones, but waves all the same. She spoke at council meetings, questioned budget priorities, highlighted the quiet disparities between the east and west sides of town. She wasn't loud, just sharp. And in a town like Marrow's Bluff, that was enough to make her a target. Then came the signs, patrol cars slowing outside their home, oddly timed traffic stops, a cold silence from former friends in city offices. Logan knew the smell of a setup. He'd smelled it in dusty alleys across the globe, and now it lingered in his own backyard. But what really set things in motion was a USB. See, Cassandra kept files, records of missed body cam footage, hospital entries that didn't match police reports, internal emails she'd seen while treating officers off the record. She wasn't planning a crusade, just keeping receipts. After she died, Logan plugged that USB in, not expecting much, just desperate. What he found? A map of a system designed to crush truth before it could breathe. Erased footage, silenced witnesses, and one particular name that kept popping up, Councilman Vernon Griggs, the man who'd greenlit the town's special response unit, the same unit that killed his wife. Now here's where the story turns. Logan didn't grab a gun, he grabbed a suit. He hired a civil rights attorney, one with fire in her eyes and a reputation for tearing holes in armored lies. Together they filed everything: wrongful death suits, civil rights violations, public records requests. But the system? It stonewalled, refused hearings, declared the shooting justified under perceived threat. The footage? Lost in a technical error. The officers? Reassigned. Not disciplined. Not even named publicly. And then, the fire. 3 weeks after the last court rejection, Logan's house went up in flames. Fire department called it an electrical issue. But Logan had rewired that breaker himself, twice. And the scent? It wasn't wires. It was gasoline. That's when he knew. They weren't going to let him expose them. They were going to erase him like they erased Cassandra. So he disappeared. Not forever, just long enough. Long enough to gather a team. Old friends, the kind whose names were never on medals. Tech specialists, deep cover analysts, former intelligence officers turned off-grid patriots. Their base? An abandoned radio tower 20 miles west of the city, signal jammed and buried under brush. Their mission? Expose everything. They found Officer Caleb Knox's body cam, hidden on a private backup server used by corrupt precinct insiders. The footage was clear. Cassandra in a white nightgown, baby in one arm, milk bottle in the other, her voice calm. "I'm holding my son. Please don't shh." 3 shots, no warning, no hesitation, no humanity. They had the video, the deleted logs, the emails planning the raid, the orders signed by Griggs himself, citing Cassandra as a community destabilizer with anti-police rhetoric. It was a hit, disguised as a mistake, And now it had a name. You'd think that'd be enough to bring the house down. But no, they needed a story, one they could control. So the media spun it. Logan as unstable, ex-military, paranoid. Called him a radical with PTSD and violent potential. Then came the arrest. They lured him with a fake legal meeting, promised a private audience with state investigators. Instead, a SWAT team dragged him from his truck in front of cameras already tipped off. End of a manhunt, the headline said. But the real story? That was just beginning. Because before that sting, Logan had done something smart. He leaked the footage, all of it, to independent platforms, international media, public archives with mirror links, a ticking truth bomb no one could contain, and the world saw. They saw Cassandra die in her baby's arms. They saw the lies. And they saw a courtroom, packed to the edges months later, as Logan, in cuffs, stood before Griggs and the entire council, and said one sentence, low, steady, like a man who no longer needed to shout to be heard. When you signed my wife's death warrant, did you think I'd let you outlive the lie? The room went silent. Griggs didn't speak, but someone else did. Councilman Tobias, the youngest on the board, once thought to be just another pawn, stood up, voice shaking. I read the files. I saw the footage. If we don't stop this, we become it. And then, in one motion, he slid a folder across the table. Whistleblower evidence. Signed confession from one of the officers. That was the crack in the dam. In the weeks that followed, the Melrose Bluff PD saw half its senior staff suspended. Griggs was indicted. Federal agents swept in. And Logan? He walked free. Not because the system suddenly worked, but because enough people finally saw it fail. Cassandra never came back, but her files did something the bullets couldn't silence. They spoke, and they're still speaking. So here's my question to you. If this happened in your town, to your neighbor, would you believe the headline, or would you ask what got erased before it aired? Justice isn't a moment, it's a momentum. And sometimes it takes the quietest people to make the loudest noise. So tell me, do you think Logan did the right thing? Drop your thoughts below. Was it revenge or just survival? Would you have done the same? And if this story made you feel something, anger, sadness, hope, share it. Because sometimes the truth doesn't need fixing. It just needs to be seen. Don't forget to subscribe for more real stories the world tries to bury. We dig them up and we bring them to light.